Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to make some animations of your model now that you've got it completed. So once you've got everything set up and complete, you can go ahead and make some video analysis. So what you can do is you can come up to the uh, toolbar up here and you'll have a create and conduct presentation button. You want to click that guy, and there's a couple of different options you can use here. You can create a snapshot one by one if you like by selecting the create snapshot and saving it to a location, setting up your resolution. Go ahead and click save and it'll save it to that folder that you've selected. If you want to create a fly-through animation, you can also click this create and conduct presentation button and then select a storyboard creator, and that'll bring up your storyboard creator toolbar down at the bottom. And from here you'll start with the default storyboard that's listed in your storyboard. You'll just need one, uh, but you can come in. You've got two buttons here. You've got the item details and all the storyboards that you've created. So if you select this button over here, you can add a new storyboard. If you want to delete it, you can right click on that storyboard and go delete selected storyboard. Once you've got a storyboard created, you can go ahead and click your details button, and that'll show details of your storyboard, which you don't have any at the moment. We're going to go ahead and create one, but what you'll have to do first is get yourself set up as far as where you want to start your video. So you'll pan and zoom to the start location of your video, and you'll select this little drop down here, add a new camera path animation, and that'll add in an animation. Here's some of your details. So you'll have a single storyboard which runs along this timeline here. You'll have a number of different keyframes representing different views along this storyboard timeline. So right now I've got one keyframe, and you can give it a name if you want. You don't need to, but some of your options down here is as far as how long your video is going to be. If you select the time to next keyframe, this will determine how fast and how slow your animation zooms and pans to the next location. So you can also set a speed as far as a travel speed if you like as well. But once you've got your first setup, pan and zoom to your next location. So you can just zoom to your next area that you like, and then you can go ahead and you can add in your next keyframe. So you'll click the add a new keyframe button after the last selected one, and notice that what's red here is selected. So I'll select the add a new keyframe button. It'll add one on to the end. I will then pan to my next one. I'll make sure I keep this set to 3 seconds, and you can change that to whatever you like depending on how fast you want your model to pan and zoom. So you will pan to your next location, add another keyframe. Notice that the ones in red are the ones that is the one that's highlighted, and note that whatever's red, when you click this button, it's going to add it to the right directly after the one that's selected. So in this case, if I had this keyframe selected and I pressed the button to add a new keyframe, it would wedge it in between these two keyframes here. So if you always want to add it to the end, make sure your last keyframe is always selected. Keep panning around to your next area or to your next location, wherever you might want that to be. And when you're ready, go ahead and click add a new keyframe as well. Make sure you set up the speed control accordingly. Add your button, and then you can check it out and click the play button and see what it looks like. So this little blue bar here that's moving, that's where your time frame video is at along the timeline. If you want to add in new segments, notice that you've got some different options here under this drop down. So if I wanted to add in an orbit animation where I could spin around in one location and take a look, I could add that in. Make sure that you have your little red object, your little marker object. You've got two. One is the blue one, which represents where your video is on the timeline. The red indicator indicates where your next object will be placed. So if I want it directly after, I will move that red marker right to the very end, and then I will go and select add an orbit animation, and that'll add an orbit animation at the very end, and I can select a angle of view. So if I wanted to spin around 360 degrees, I could select that, and now when I select my video, it'll spin around in that one section. Also note that if you want to add a title or some captioning text into your video, you can as well. Move your marker, your red marker, to where you want to insert the caption, and you've got a couple of buttons up here. You can add some caption, which is regular text, or if you want to add in a title, you can go add new title. Click that button, it'll pop it in over on the timeline in the captions section, and you've got two tabs here. You can type in your text for your caption title or your title text, set your font and your text heights, how you want it to fade in and out, those kinds of things, how long you want it to be. You can set here in your, you've got a transparency button as well, so if you want it to be see-through on your model, otherwise it'll be a black background. And in your second tab, you can set how big you want that outline of your text to be. But once you've got that set up, you can add in other text captions along the way as well by clicking this button here. So that's how you can create animations, and once you're ready, you can go ahead and export to the current storyboard to a video. And just remember that any of these timeline keyframes you can delete or edit or move or change. So if you wanted a certain segment to be longer, you can go ahead and set up a new time value. You can also add things in after or delete existing ones if you want. And that's about it. Thank you.